Hey, what's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to the After Action Report for the Guardians of the Galaxy versus the Spider Foes. And my goodness, was that a close game. Very lucky sequence of events at the very end there for me. Very lucky, I think. But you know what? If a couple of your dice rolls went slightly different during the game, I think with how close this was, I mean, this was anyone's game for a good chunk of it.
I completely agree. It looked like you were ahead a little bit, but I felt like I was board position ahead, and then you got a little bit of board position ahead, and I started gaining momentum after that. So
yeah. Once you started picking up a little bit of momentum, I was really worried when you failed to get me to drop my objectives off the well-laid plans.
Yep.
I thought that was a massive setback for you, but
no, the well-laid plans thing was definitely more about creating issues for you having to take extra actions to grab the points you already gained, and unfortunately, it didn't yield anything.
Yeah. I liked your squad this game, though.
I did too. I think Crystal, I was hoping she could survive a little bit better than she did, and I think she might need a bodyguard or something like that to protect her.
That is true. Honestly, I kind of forgot about Crystal. So
yeah.
Okay. She was an interesting blaster. And
I was really hoping to get sneaky and have both Sinister Traps and well-laid plans go off while she was within 3, because if you took damage from any effect from mine, you get one of the condition tokens, and I was like, I had her in a great spot,
and she put a lot of conditions on Steve. Right?
She did.
Like, I'm actually kind of amazed that he survived that turn.
And honestly, I feel like that turn she traded way up against Steve. So Steve's a violent Steve, and she's apparently a violent Inhuman. So
yeah. No, it's a very good there. I think Lizard definitely got work done for you this game. He got a lot of points for you.
He scored a lot of points, but he could have been anyone from Rocket to Bob.
No, okay, so keep in mind, I was actually ignoring Lizard a lot of the time because of his ability to heal up in his thick skin. I wasn't putting attacks into him, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel, though, like he had the benefit of being the least threatening person on the table.
I disagree with that. I think Crystal was the least threatening person on the table. I at no point was I ever really concerned about Crystal.
Oh, see, she put Cap down for the first round.
She did, but
by herself.
But no, Cap was standing at the end of the round. Took a few activations to get Cap. You put a bunch of status conditions on Cap.
Okay.
But you didn't take him down.
I don't know. She did a fairly good job of making Steve very much easy to...
But you had to use a Tactus card, and you got 3 attacks off on it as well. Like, you had to use a lot of resources to do it.
Sure.
And then she went away on round 2.
Right? Well, anyone can get double tapped in that situation, but yeah.
But no, I think Lizard got a lot of work done for you. Doc Ock was surprisingly effective for you. He was a constant threat.
Yeah, no, I think he should have been the one that sat on my objective, but...
that I do agree. I think Black Swan was underutilized. Now, granted, I put conditions on the Black Swan and you just never got rid of them, right?
Yeah. And also, I think rather than doing my staging for round 2 on my round 1 and having everyone on that building lip, except for Doc Ock, I definitely could have had everyone holding that point and then merging from there.
I think something else you could have done is, instead of staging up here, you could have been staging right around here as well, right?
Yeah, that's
because that also would have been out of line of sight, with only Rocket really being able to see you. And I mean, Rocket scored me some points, but he didn't really do much else.
Yeah. I was definitely thinking more about cover than I was about that, and I definitely experienced Steve running across the board several times in previous games, so I was willing to believe that Steve would come over and deliver some stars and stripes whenever he wanted. So
I'm quite happy with how Steve performed in this game. He's not flashy, but he got work done pretty much every single turn of the game.
Sure did.
And he tanked a lot of damage this game.
Yep.
He really tanked it. Although I have to admit, I think my most surprising one, Star-Lord. I didn't think the fight between him and Goblin would end with Star-Lord being the one standing.
No, I think this is very much a normal part of Marvel Crisis Protocol, because it's that ebb and flow back and forth. When I get a bunch of hits on you and knock you out, that means you get to come back at me, and because I ended up giving you priority at that one point, and then you got to really take advantage of it.
That follow me was pivotal.
It was.
Right? Because it gave me 2 turns of priority. And having enough to full auto twice into Goblin, especially after already dazing you.
Yep.
Like
It
doing
was-
2 full autos to get rid of 5 health.
It was a big turn, and and me failing to put him down with 1 attack. I had a 7 dice attack to try to down him,
Oh
and
my
missed
goodness.
by just that little bit. But
Forcing that second action. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plucky Attitude came through this game.
Definitely.
Big time. I think I rolled Plucky Attitude like 4 times.
Yeah.
And I think each time Plucky Attitude came back with some defense.
Well, and the winging it's definitely are very, very good. And
Yes.
Unfortunately, every time I saw you winging it, I looked down at my force you to reroll one of your dice, and I'm like, okay, I guess I can technically get you out of that with Oscorp, but it feels like a bad winging it token.
I mean, Oscorp has some really cool. You shut down a lot of my triggers with Oscorp.
A little bit, yeah.
Right?
If I thought about it, technically Black Swan has her own pseudo thing where she pays 1, and I get to force you to reroll one of your defense die.
Oh, the telepathic suggestion?
Yeah, exactly. So
You probably could have made better use of that one, I think.
I didn't need it. Any times I was throwing attacks, I was either doing enough damage that it mattered, or
Oh, you forced me to reroll defense?
on defense. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Whereas the Midnight Field was huge on the attacks, right?
Oh, yeah.
So-
Midnight Field kept Black Swan in the game.
Oh, sorry. Other way around. I apologize. Telepathic suggestion is when I'm attacking you, your defense die get changed. When
Yeah,
you're attacking
I thought
me,
that's what we were saying, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
I think one of the biggest crucial things that I did to you this game was putting Root on Black Swan.
Well, and Root, very bad because it meant that the things that I wanted to do were expensive, but Root and Slow together were actually the things that kind of...
Getting the language trigger off Steve.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Really putting those extra triggers onto Black Swan was massive. I kept her conditioned all game, and I did not want to play that game.
Yep.
I just didn't go into her at that point, which was big because I don't think she really had power to do things until like round 5.
Yes, yeah. She kind of was scary because if she didn't have Root, but she had Root, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, she had lots of potential and everything like that. I mean, I'm going to talk about I don't know if I want to say disappointment, but man, Gamora went down like a wet sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
Like, she came in, she friggin' dumpstered Crystal there, right?
Yep.
Like, got rid of her from injured to KO'd and allowed the follow me, which was pivotal. That was huge.
But the fact that she killed Crystal in 1 attack as opposed to leaving it for Steve was probably a big mistake on her part. She was just too good at her job.
And that was the unfortunate game plan, was to like go into Crystal, leave her with 1 health remaining, have a second Cosmic Assassin into Lizard, and then have Steve activate, finish off Crystal, and maybe even finish off Lizard.
Yeah, no,
right?
that's actually how I saw that turn stacking up, and no, my dice had no intention of allowing that to happen.
It's weird. Gamora operated only in swings.
Yeah.
Because I mean, your Doc Ock into Gamora just friggin' dumpstering her. It's like, well, that was unexpected.
Yeah, that's not a normal Doc Ock move, but sure.
Yep. And the fact that you had to move into range 3 to ignore that stealth to do it as well, and then you just dumpster her. It's like, oh well, okay, that's how this is going down then, isn't it? And I think that was the one where I rolled like 4 defense and 2 of them were skulls and like 1 was a crit and a...
Yes,
Yeah. So like my winged token wouldn't even help me on that one.
Yeah, and then I Oscorped 1 away. Yeah. It was such a weird situation.
That was rough. I was happy to see Doc do things this game because there's been a lot of games where we've brought him out and he really hasn't done much.
Yep.
So I was very happy to see that Doc Octopus did things. All in all, like I think my squad it did some work. I took a real gamble moving Rocket all the way over here away from Groot.
Yeah.
And I think the gamble paid off because Rocket did get me, I think, like 3 or 4 points by doing so.
Absolutely. And I liked, so going back, I think if I wasn't trying to be cute with Crystal, I probably would have just Sinister Trapped your objective and tried to move up onto the book on my first turn. But yeah, it was a lot of fun anyways, and I thought me letting you get a little bit of momentum and then, I'm going to well-laid plans and get rid of your thing.
Well, the funny thing about this is like that momentum that I got was like 2 points in round 2, right?
Yeah.
Like I never really had a lot of momentum. You were nipping on my heels the entire game.
Yeah. And I just thought, I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to change the way that these actions are going. And no, that didn't matter. That was not important to the game, as it turns out.
If I were to have changed anything, I almost wonder if when you were over here, if instead of going after Star-Lord, if it was better for Goblin to go after Rocket. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Because, I mean, Rocket got like 4 passive points. He didn't do much in the way of damage, but he got 4 passive points. Well, probably more, because I think he grabbed a book very early on.
Yeah,
he was scoring a book for, what, 5 turns?
Yeah, 4 or 5 at least.
Yeah, 4 or 5 rounds.
Because he definitely
and then,
had this for 1 or 2 turns too, and
I think he had that one for 2, and then he had the book for 5. So I think Rocket scored me 6 or 7 of my points.
yeah.
Which was big. So I think like Goblin maybe going after him would have been big, because that means Goblin also would have picked up a book.
Well, Goblin actually scored me a couple of points. Shouldn't say a bunch of points.
But not a lot. I think Goblin only scored you like, there was 1 point over here, and then I think he scored this twice more.
I think so,
So
something like that.
I think he only got you 3 points.
Yeah.
At best there. So I don't know. I think Goblin, you used Goblin as a points runner. I think you should have used him as a harasser.
I actually thought I was using him as a harasser because I thought the way that this was going to end was Star-Lord was going to get taken down and then I'd be shooting at you from your backfield.
And I do agree. I thought that's the way it was going to go as well. I almost wonder, actually, if instead of going after like Star-Lord or Rocket, if you would like, because Goblin had the speed,
Yeah.
if on round 2, Goblin just started going over this way and just
Yeah.
overwhelmed me over here, right?
Definitely.
Because I kind of made a strategy that was based on Gamora and Steve walking up the flank and just rolling over, and because like, Gamora went down so fast,
Yep.
I was able to hold on because Groot is tanky,
Yep.
and Steve is tanky,
Yep.
so I kind of got lucky there. But that was like holding off, Black Swan and Doc Octopus. If Goblin had come over as well, I don't think I would have held this over here.
Yeah. And honestly, sending Lizard back this way and firing a little laser, that probably was a big mistake. But at the time, it would have been Star-Lord versus Lizard, and I'm pretty sure that Star-Lord actually has a better chance of winning that.
Well, I mean, here's the other thing, right? Lizard had to respond to Rocket going over there.
Yeah.
Because if Lizard didn't respond to Rocket, that would have been a lot of points. That would have been game winning, I think, in 5 almost.
Yep.
Whereas he came over, he adjusted for it. Whereas if he was over here, like I only had a book and 1 point over here.
Yeah.
I didn't actually score a lot of points on this side of the table. I think I scored this like every single turn.
Yep. I actually think that the Lizard wouldn't have survived over here. Is my problem. I think that Star-Lord actually, because of his ability to shoot me twice and then fly away, would mean that I would potentially hold a whole point, but I would move and then attack you once.
It's possible.
So I have a feeling Lizard would lose that fight in the long run.
It's possible. I mean, it's hard to say. We saw some spikes with Star-Lord there, and that can happen, especially when you're rolling 7 dice. Oddly enough, I didn't really get much triggers off with full auto, which would have been big game changing over here as well. But I got the triggers off over here where it was needed. So
Definitely.
But I think how the game went down, it was still an enjoyable, tight game, which was really good.
Yeah,
hopefully,
really close.
Yeah. I mean, the final score is only within 2 points.
Yeah.
17-15. So yeah, definitely very, very tight, very close game. So no arguments about that one. Hopefully, everyone who's watching enjoyed it. And leave your comments below. Let us know what you like, what you didn't like. If you want to see certain rosters or affiliations being run in the future, hit us up in the comments.
Absolutely.
I mean, we kind of do these on the fly. We make them by squads. We don't always do full rosters.
Yep.
But if you guys want to see something on the table that you haven't seen for a while or anything like that, definitely let us know because we will take those suggestions. And so anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. 17-15 for the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we will see you next week. Happy wargaming.